this whole idea of spiritual awakening must be seen in the context. In the context of, if we're going to awaken, what are we awakening from? Right? It's easy to say, well, we're awakening from illusion, we're awakening from the separate self, we're awakening from separation to unity, to oneness, to all that. We say these things, these kind of things they're easy spiritual teachings to throw out there. They're easy things for people to listen to. But the question is, what does all that mean? What is it specifically? What is this dream state that one is awakening from? I think this is a really vital question. Otherwise, someone is just endeavoring to awaken to reality, and they have no idea what they're awakening from. And if you have no idea what you're awakening from, then the tendency is you're going to keep taking your dream state to be real. And you're going to imagine that reality is going to look like, sort of like an improved dream state, if that makes any sense. So, when we take the notion that we could be dreaming, we could be actually dreaming right now, and we could be dreaming, we could be taking our dream to be real. We could be taking something other than this moment to be more real than what's actually happening this moment. We could be taking our collected ideas and beliefs and opinions. We could be taking our memories, all these things that we've collected from the past. We could be taking them to be more real, to actually be the only reality. We could be taking in this moment our fears or anticipations about the future to be more real than this moment right now. And when we do that, we actually become caught in this dream, this illusion of time. This illusion of time we become caught in. Consciousness becomes caught, wrapped in this cloak of time. And it's this cloak of time that real spiritual inquiry has to address, has to look at. You start to see that who you think you are, who you imagine yourself to be, is something that's constructed in time, of the past. Your whole notion of yourself is something that's being created in the present moment out of the past, out of experiences from the past, memories from the past, beliefs from the past, things you inherited from your past, good experiences, bad experiences, wonderful experiences, horrific experiences, that one's whole notion of themselves is actually being created by notions that you borrowed from the past, and that are imposing them on the present moment, actually perceiving through this distorted filter. That's why when we're doing this, when we're caught in the dream state, life feels very, very repetitious, because it is repetitious, because when we're caught in the dream state, what we're basically doing is reliving the past over and over every single day. We're reliving past experiences, past regrets, past blames, past angers. We're reliving past judgments. We're living past ideas, past regrets. We're actually living in the past. An image we have of ourselves that's derived from the past. This is what comprises the dream state. So when we're in the dream state, we're in this repetitive loop that seems very difficult to get out of, Even though the scenery changes from day to day. One day it's cloudy, the next day it's raining, one day this happens, the next day that happens. Even though on one level there's changes, but internally, when we're in the dream state, it's extraordinarily repetitive. It's why the Buddha called it the wheel of samsara, because it has a quality of being a wheel, of something that just is like a catch-22. And it's the reason it feels like that is because when we're living in time, in the past and in the future, we're living in the mind, the mechanical nature of mind, the repetitive nature of mind. And the repetitive nature of mind, there's nothing new, there's nothing fresh, there's a disconnect with what actually is, because we're paying so much attention to what the mind is creating, to time, to the past. We're letting it distort our perception to such an extent that we don't actually feel and experience what's really happening right here and right now. Most people's experience of now isn't actually now at all. Their experience of now is actually the experience of the past. The past imposing itself, superimposing itself upon the perception of right now. So spiritual awakening is literally awakening from time, from the mind imposing the past onto the present moment, from the mind constantly living in the future, imposing the past and the future on the present moment, and then looking at the present moment through the cloak of time, through the distortion of time. And that gives a whole different experiential quality to the present. It actually limits it into something extraordinarily narrow, confined. It makes you feel confined in a self that's defined by what was. Isn't this how most people experience themselves? Most people experience themselves as something that's defined by the whole history of their past, from the time they can remember up till the present moment. So the experience of themselves is actually the experience of what was, not the experience of what is. And in the same way, people's experience of each other, your friend, your lover, your husband, your wife, most people experience each other in terms of the past, in terms of who the person was yesterday and the day before that and the year before that and 2 years before that and 5 years before that. So we know it's not only something we do within ourselves, to ourselves, we do it to each other. We experience each other in terms of the whole past memory we have of them. So we don't actually see each other fresh and new at each moment, at each instant. But each moment and each instant is being corrupted, in a sense, contaminated by this memory, this superimposition, this cloak of the past. In fact, the whole state of separation and ego is something that can only be created out of memory. If there's no memory, who are you without memory? Who are you without all the ideas and beliefs about who you've been, without all the, about who are you without referring in any way to anything that ever happened? Who are you? It means who are you now? Not who were you. Not who you are in terms of everything that's ever happened, but who you are right now. Actually now. You see? Because now, everything that was is being held in the mind, in the brain. And of course, that's a fine capacity to have. I'm not suggesting that you somehow erase all the memories you have or pretend like things didn't happen. That's not what I'm speaking about at all. Our minds have this capacity for memory. And they have a capacity for projecting into the future. I'm not suggesting that you try to lose your memory or wipe your memory out. The difficulty isn't that you have memory. The difficulty becomes when you perceive through memory. Two very different phenomena. One is simply to have certain memories in your mind. To learn something is to have a certain memory. But when we perceive through memory, when our perception is actually going through the distortions of memory, then it's distorting what we're perceiving right here and right now. So is it possible for one not to perceive through memory? Is it possible In this moment as we are together, everybody listening to this program, we are here together now. That's the reality. This instant is the reality. This instant is the only reality that there is. It's the only reality that you have. And this instant is at once timeless. Timeless does not mean it lasts a long time. Timeless means there is no time to it. There is no past or future to it. It's just one now. And can you experience right now without experiencing now through the filter of the mind? What is the experience of now without experiencing it through memory? What is that? What are you now? What's the nature of what you are when you don't experience it through the past, through any memory whatsoever? If you're actually following me in experience, not just conceptually, but actually in experience, if you're really following me, there'll be a tremendous and totally natural silence that opens up. When you're not perceiving through the past, there's a tremendous amount of silence, a tremendous space that opens up, or that enters into awareness. And for many people, they're not familiar with this kind of space. They don't value it. They actually value the past and the future. They value their memories and their concepts and their ideas and all of that which has been inherited from the past. They value the past more than they value the present. People take the past to be more real than what they are experiencing in this moment. But if we really investigate in a meditative way, which means in an experiential way, so we're actually perceiving now without any relation to the past, without it being defined by the past. We're not perceiving through the past. Can you perceive this moment simply as it actually is?